Same Codex installation, same diagnostic, 4 different effective values. Nothing is random here. Codex is combining configuration from several layers, and if you can't predict which layer wins, you do not really know what you're running. Hi, I'm Chuck McCullough, and in this lesson, we'll set up Codex, verify the installation and sign-in state, isolate a safe profile, and make configuration precedence visible without spending a single model token. Before we configure anything, choose the surface that matches the work. The Codex CLI command line interface is terminal first and works well for local repositories and scripts. The IDE extension keeps Codex besides your editor context. The desktop app is useful for local projects, review, and longer interactive work. The Codex cloud or web page runs tasks in hosted, isolated environments. I'm using the CLI today because paths and configuration layers are easiest to see in a terminal. The same local configuration is also shared with the IDE extension and the Codex experience in the desktop app. Now, if you want to get started with Codex, the easiest way is just visit the website, chatgpt.com/codex. You can see the download for Windows because it detected I have a Windows operating system. There are different ways to install Codex, and always check here for the current and most accurate way to install Codex on your system. Okay, I have already installed Codex, so I'm going to come over here to my PowerShell, and we're going to run get command Codex just to see where that resolves to. And you can see that it's a PowerShell script, and it's located in my app data roaming folder. So that way I know where this is coming from. That is actually the right place. Let's check the version. And it tells me that it is 146.1. Let's check the login status. I am currently logged in using ChatGPT. Now, there's a couple of different ways to authenticate with Codex. You can use your ChatGPT account. There's also an option to use an API key. And I actually have both. So sometimes I use my subscription, sometimes I use the API key. Now, to check our configuration, I'm going to run Codex Doctor with the summary option so that it's a shorter output. We have some mixed signals when it comes to authentication. Because I have an API key in an environment variable, I also have a ChatGPT account. I actually used the ChatGPT account to do the login. If you aren't logged in, you can, from the command line, type in Codex, log in. It will open a web page, authenticate with your ChatGPT account, and there you go. You're logged in for this console, for this terminal. System, runtime, install, search, get, terminal, everything that it's looking for is available, and everything has a nice little green check mark beside it, which is what I'm looking for. If there's some kind of configuration error, those would show up when we run Doctor. Now, I want a clean experiment. My everyday Codex profile may contain personal defaults, connected tools, and session history. None of that belongs in this demonstration. So the setup script creates an isolated Codex home and a disposable Git repository. For this PowerShell process, the environment variable codex_home points Codex at the isolated profile. That gives us 2 benefits. The demonstration starts from known files, and the recording does not expose my normal configuration. This does not make secrets safe to show. I still will not open authentication files, logs, sessions, transcripts, or dump every environment variable. Now I'm going to run the script called setup demo, which creates a few subdirectories for us. It also sets an environment variable, Codex home environment variable, as I mentioned. It is set to a subdirectory of the directory we are currently in. All right, so check it out. For this demo, we've created a few directories. First, Codex home. So we set the environment variable, Codex home, to this folder. So this is the user level configuration for Codex. Here we find the config.toml file. This is Codex's master user level configuration. Notice the model we set up here is Terra. Now, I also have a repository I'm working with. It's called config lab. It also has a .codex subdirectory. That directory contains a config as well. Here we set the model to Sol. We have a subdirectory in this repository that called tools that also has a subdirectory codex with a configuration file. Here we set the model to Luna. Now, the run demo PowerShell, and I'm not going to go into the details of the internals of that. You can look at that yourself. But when we run that, it checks to see what model is used depending on what directory you execute your codex command from. So when we run that, we find that we get these models for output. So at the user level global, Terra, that's what we configured. At the project root, Sol, that's what we configured. Inside the tools folder, we get Luna. And there's also a model command line parameter that we specified to the codex command line, and we set that to Terra. So regardless of where we run it from, we get the command line interface override. If we don't specify a model, you get Terra. That's the global or the user level. If you run a codex command from inside your project root, that will override the global, so project-specific overrides. A sub-project, a nested project, overrides the project setting, and the command line overrides all of those. Now we can build the stack. Built-in defaults are at the bottom. A system configuration can sit above them. Then comes the user configuration. A selected named profile can override the user layer. Trusted project configurations come next, ordered from the project root towards the working directory. Finally, command line flags and one-off config overrides have the highest precedence. Higher precedence does not mean more important. It means more specific for this run. A named profile is useful when you want a reusable variation without rewriting your normal defaults. For example, a review profile. A command line override is useful when the change should last for one invocation. There's an important distinction coming in the next lesson. Config.toml controls the runtime, models, approval, and sandbox settings, tools, providers, and related behavior. AGENTS.md supplies durable working guidance, project commands, conventions, constraints, and verification expectations. Both are layered, but they solve different problems. Do not hide a runtime permission change in a prose instruction file, and do not expect a model setting to teach Codex your test command. For a practical starter configuration, begin small. Keep defaults you do not have a reason to change, and only add settings you can explain, and verify the effective result. Strict configuration checking helps expose keys that this Codex version does not recognize. Codex Doctor helps prove which profile, repository model, and runtime is actually found. A giant copied sample may look thorough, but unexplained configuration ages quickly and makes failures harder to diagnose. And here's your challenge. Use the disposable lab and write down which model you expect at the repository root, then inside the tools folder, and with the one-off command line override. Then run the script and compare your prediction with the evidence. For a bonus, add a named profile and place it correctly in the precedence stack before you test it. You now have a Codex installation you can inspect and a configuration model you can reason about. Next, we'll add durable project guidance with AGENTS.md. After that, we'll take a careful look at permissions, approvals, sandboxing, and safe autonomy. Hey, if you liked this video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on new content. Also, members get exclusive access to source code and advanced videos. Join our community today, will you? Hey, we really appreciate everyone that has joined our community. Why don't you join today and become a member?